And we are live, first show of the year, and we're running 10 minutes late. Oh my God. Way to go, Paul. Way to go. But we're cooking with Crisco now, baby. So let's do this. Let's get into it. Let's make it happen. You know, we have a sick, weak, disgusting, decrepit, old, dying president on our hands, and we're going to talk about what that looks like, what that means going forward, what that means for the country, what it means for policy, what it means for, folks, this is a problem. I mean, it is a major, major problem. But before we get into that, we've got an international audience here, and we've got people here from Switzerland. And I just want to reach out and I just want to say I'm terribly sorry for the tragedy that you've got on your hands. I know this is awful. If you, most people are going to be unaware. Let's go to the map. This is Crans, Montana, Switzerland. Not to be confused with the state of Montana here in the United States. This is Crans, Montana. It's a little town and ski resort in Switzerland. They have just had a horrific fire. Let me back out, give me an idea where this is. Give you an idea where this is in Switzerland. You've got Switzerland. This is Switzerland. Here, let me remove the top. This is Switzerland here. If we move in, you can see this is where Crans, Montana is in Switzerland. In respect to most people will only, Geneva maybe is their map. But yeah, it's a small resort. It's one of those places you've never heard of. It is one of the playgrounds for the rich. In wintertime, it becomes a ski haven. And it is really, really, really something, folks. I mean, they've had a real tragedy there. This is Crans, Montana in better days. It is just looks like a postcard, folks. It does. It's an absolutely gorgeous place. I've been flipping through images of it all morning in preparation for the show, and I will tell you, it is an absolutely stunningly gorgeous place. It literally looks like a postcard. It draws some very, very wealthy people to the Crans Montana ski resort. And at that ski resort, they have a nightclub and in the basement. And this happened. Um, Apparently a bartender carried a woman for their New Year's Eve party, was carrying a woman that was holding a magnum of champagne with a very large sparkler coming out the top of it. That sparkler ignited the roof in the club, and a backdraft ensued. If you don't know what a backdraft is, it's when you get a fire in an enclosed area. When things burn, everything, look around you. Look around you. Look at all the things around you that are flammable. How much fuel for a fire there is. When you've got a situation where you have tons of fuel and a fire starts, the fire will cause things to off gas flammable fumes. But there isn't enough oxygen to feed the fire. So it chokes. And when people run, They hit the doors, they break the windows to try to get out. Oxygen rushes in, and not only do you have a fuel-rich situation, you have a situation where you had flammable gases build up, and it just explodes. It's called a backdraft. That's what happened here. The reports from this, I was reading the news reports from this, firsthand reports. People were smashing windows trying to get people out. They were reporting people flooding into the streets on fire from head to toe. People with all of their clothes burned off. It was horrific. It was over 40 dead. I believe the final count right so far is 150 injured. So please, keep our Swiss brothers and sisters in mind. Not something that you want for anyone. But Agent Cajun John is here. Why are we not at the 25th Amendment? What does it take? Folks, I'm glad you asked that question to begin with, because there's a point that I've wanted to talk about in this show. And it's this. Even the Epstein files is not a deal breaker for MAGA. It's just not. It's just not. They are immoral, gross people. They don't care about our children. They don't care about their children. They don't care about their wives. Look what happened with women's rights and women's health care. Look what happened. They pretended to care about pedophilia when they thought they were, when they were seeing made up shit on the internet. We talked about this in the last show, the QAnon bullshit. Comet ping pong pizza. They were more than willing to show up their AR-15 to get them Democrats. But now that it's just completely obvious that it is Trump, these are the Trump Epstein files. It's Trump's names being redacted. It's Trump's friends' images being redacted. It's the GOP donors being redacted. They're finding more and more and more files all the time. And it's not a deal breaker, because what you're seeing on social media this weekend is, again, the bigotry. We talked about it a little bit in the last show. They're eating the dogs, they're eating the cats. They've got Somalians now to rage about. They don't care about. They don't care about the Epstein files. They don't. So when you ask what's it going to take, we just have to defeat them in the ballot box. There is nothing that will stop these people from support. Trump could literally abuse a child in front of them, and it wouldn't be a deal breaker. They are that gone of a cult. So let's take a look at it. Let's take a look at what it means. What does it mean to have an incredibly weak, incredibly gross, incredibly morally bankrupt president? What does that do to our adversaries, our competition? What does that mean? Well, this is what it means. Yeah. You remember that pitiful small amount of soybeans that China said it would buy from us? Well, not yet. Man, I hope your coffee's as good as mine. Mine is banging this morning. Not yet. They're slow rolling those purchases out if they finish making them at all. That's what it looks like, folks. When you have an incredibly weak, corrupt president, why should you live up to your pledges? They don't. Trump doesn't. Trump changes the rules as he goes. Why not China? And of course, our farmers, and this is going to be a theme today, MAGA, leopards eating MAGA faces. All those, and yeah, I know there are some seriously strong Democrats out there, and I mean, we just had an special election in Iowa where we overperformed by 43 points. So I know there are blue farmers out there. I am not painting all farmers with a broad brush, but I'm telling you, about 60-70% of farmers are MAGA. And I gotta tell you, these soybean farmers are taking it not just once, but taking it twice. Um, I mean, this is just something that's just not gonna be fixed. This is Porta de Santos, uh, this is, Santos, Brazil. Let's go to the map. This is Porto de Santos. Give you an idea where it is. Sao Paulo is one of the largest cities in the world. There's about 24 million people that live there. But it is not a coastal city. It isn't. It is near the coast, but it is not a coastal city. This is Sao Paulo, Brazil. Again, one of the largest. It's usually between sixth and 10th largest city in the world. 24 million people live there. Santos, Portos de Santos. Santos is the port. This is where the goods come in and out. Why is that important? Well, because this just happened. This just happened. And it directly ties to the fact that China's not in any hurry to buy our soybeans. They're not. Folks, I need you to keep in mind, we talk about this all the time about, when I try to keep people focused, when you get the people that are, the purists, the one-liners that cough stuff out and they want to attack this and they want to attack that. And I remind people, okay, but we've got to pump out 1.3 billion pounds of food a day. It's got to be grown, processed, delivered. You got to be able to buy it, consume it, cook it, consume it. 1.3 billion pounds of food a day. Remember those logistics. Well, China's got 3 to 4 times that. 3 to 5 billion pounds of food a day. And they're not pissing money away on Trump battleships. They're not doing that. This is where they're putting their money, folks. They've cut a deal with Brazil and Porto Santos for a 25-year agreement. They're going to run their bulk terminal for 25 years. For 25 years, they're going to run their bulk terminal. This is where they're building their new terminal. Pretty sweet, huh? In Porto Santo. Why? Because this is where COFCO is the corporation that buys these soybeans for China and other grains. This is where COFCO is going to build and modernize their terminal. And I know what you're saying. Let's go back to the map. Let's go back to the map for just a second. First question should be, wow, that's going to be rough. I mean, they could just buy them off the west coast of California like they do now up in Washington. Is a huge grain terminal there. They could much easier shipping, much shorter. But this isn't really a convenient place for them to do business. Oh yeah, it is. Yeah, it is. Go back to the map on Santos, Brazil. 1 second. Santos, Brazil. Not exactly a convenient location if you just take at first glance for China. A lot of shipping involved there. Yeah, but they don't have to go around the Horn of South America, which is so difficult. The horrific storms there. No, they just go north. Ship north to the Panama Canal. It's a few days. That's it. Just a few days up here to the Panama Canal. Why is that important? Why am I mentioning the Panama Canal? Again, I'm pointing out the stupidity of Republican MAGA policy. Got to be tough, man. Got to have that military. Got to have them ships. Got to have, got to strike them people in Nigeria. We got to strike them people in Venezuela. We got to, we got to be tough, man. We got to be tough. And meanwhile, China built this for Panama. Almost no interest loans. I mean, you're talking about free money they built this with. If you sail into the port, which I have done, this is not something I just looked up. I have actually sailed into the port of Cologne. It is beautiful. It is modern. It is brand spanking new. China has contracts on both ends. They've modernized both ends of the canal. Panama loves China. China just modernized Panama's electric grid. We threatened Panama. We threatened Panama. Folks, this is what stupid people get us. Great question. What's China's plan? They want to do business. They want to ship soybeans from Brazil to China. And the easiest way to do that is the Panama Canal. So why not be friends? They don't spend $1 trillion a year on a military. No, they spend a few $100 million a year loaning money out all around the world. Hey, let me help you build a new dock, man. Let me help you make money. You want to do business? Let's do business. Thanks for being here, Brother Stephen Leach. Thanks for being here. Thanks for always supporting the show, man. I'm truly grateful. I am truly grateful. But yeah, that's what weakness looks like. That's exactly. China understands soft power. They get it. They understand. They do. They get it. But folks, it's not just that. It's not just that. It's not just that China has not only, have they taken a look at us and said, okay, we're unstable partners. We've got to generate new partnerships around the world. We cannot be tied to the United States agriculturally. We've got this logistical issue. We got to produce 3 to 5 billion pounds of food a year. We need partners that we can rely on. So we're going to do deals all over the world so that if any one situation happens, we're good. We're good. We're okay. We're golden. We're investing in the future. Meanwhile, we're dumping $1 trillion into a military. We're slashing our State Department. We're killing things like U.S. aid, which is one of the easiest and cheapest ways to make friends. Hey, you're starving? No problem. We got food. We'll help you out. Nope, can't do that. America first! America first! Folks, it's gotten to the point where even friends, not competitors, friends. Japan is an ally, folks. Japan just said that from now on, all future deals with the United States will have a, quote, moron premium. And they said it out loud. They said it out loud. all future negotiations with the United States of America will have a moron premium on top of the deal, because it doesn't matter if there's a competent Democratic, it doesn't matter to them anymore that in the midterms we're going to sweep. It doesn't matter to them that in 2028 Democrats are going to take over and we're going to have a sensible, competent government again. It doesn't matter. They said it out loud, because we will elect another idiot Republican. We will elect another idiot. So from now on, every deal we make with Japan, when they negotiate it, they're going to negotiate in their words, a moron premium. This is what it looks like, folks, to have a weak, idiotic president. This is what it looks like. Jeremy Breeden had to watch the last few on replay because of holiday travel. It's great to be back live. Happy New Year. I'm glad you're here, brother. Glad you're here. Glad you're always here. Morning, LJ Jones. Glad to see the new supporters in the house. That means we're still growing. We're still growing. LJ Jones, good to see you, my friend. Chandra in the house. Past time to clean house and throw out the garbage. Yeah, we have so much. We have decades of work to do. Decades of work to do. But hey, what are the Republicans focused on? They're eating the dogs. They're eating the cat. Just crazy, idiotic bigotry stuff. 1 second. I mean, just insanity. The Somalia stuff. They went all hands on deck. They activated every one of their troll farms. They told the Texas Agricultural Commissioner, Sid Miller, was tweeting on X about Somalians. That's how stupid these people are. That's how stupid these people are. Meanwhile, the farmers, get this thumb in the eye. New West Bill, thank you for being here. They were being polite. Moron. No shit. Rock and Ron, aka Ron Slater. I had a talk with a Trumper yesterday about what's going on. He said he didn't trust my sources. I told him my source was Trump himself, and he shut down. Yeah, there is no deal breaker for them. There is no deal breaker for MAGA. Trump's a pedophile. Trump could abuse a kid on Fifth Avenue and they would not part with him. They wouldn't. They are just lost, useless souls that do not care about children. They don't care about their wives. They don't care about any of it. All they care about is their self-identity and self-superiority. And that's what this Somalia, stuff in Minnesota is all about. You get some guy living in a trailer here in Texas. They just told him he's better than them people, them business people up in Minnesota. He's better than them. He got more morals. Tiger Butterfly, mail-in voting. You can hand it to the clerk at the counter and request it be stamped immediately. And 3 states have canceled their grace period for mail-in ballots: Kansas, Ohio, and North Carolina. What she's talking about, folks, is Republicans are going to cheat. They are. They're going to cheat. So in many Republican-dominated states, they're states run elections, folks, not the federal government. People keep saying Trump's not going to let us vote. Well, Trump don't have nothing to do with you voting. That's your state government. That's why I keep begging you to get involved locally. That's your state government. In Republican states, what they're doing is they're doing things like ending the grace period for mail-in voting. They are. They're normally you mail it if it's stamped by the date, by election day, the postmark by election day, it counts. Not in Republican states. If it don't get there, it don't get there. I don't care what the postmark says. We're not going to count your ballot. That's what they're doing, folks. They're trying to eliminate as many voters as possible because they know what this looks like, folks. They do. They know what is happening. They know things like this are going on. And folks, you'll notice that this is a local Wisconsin affiliate that I got this of, because this should be the number one story in the country. This should be the number one story in the country, but it's not. They're eating the dogs, they're eating the cats. Let's talk about some bigotry. Woo, there's some brown people that we can talk about. Yeah, that's what the corporate media is doing. Affordable Care Act subsidies are gone. Republicans know that this is going to blow up in their faces. They know. So they're doing things like trying to screw with mail-in voting. We're going to have to double down. We're going to have to be twice as responsible. We're going to have to be twice as active. We are. They know it. They know this just happened. And what does this mean, folks? Just a Cliff Notes this for you. This is what it means. Everywhere. Again, this is going to be a local affiliate and a local story, but this is nationwide. This is happening. Nationwide, you've got healthcare, your local hospitals, your local clinics, your local healthcare system is bracing for this. Not because they're bracing for the loss of money, which they're preparing for that too. This month, the month of January, your local hospital, your local clinic, your doctor, good luck getting an appointment. They are getting plowed under. Trump USPS changed the postmark rule. Yeah, they are really, and what he means there, Silly Bebo, what she means, Silly Bebo means there, is that the United States Post Office used to take in mail, and they got a machine that postmarks it. Then they would process it. It would sit waiting to be processed, but it was postmarked. They had it. Not anymore. They take each batch that they're going to process, then they run it through the postmark machine, and then they process it. So just because you take and drop your letter in the mailbox doesn't mean it's postmarked today. If they don't get to it for 2 days, it doesn't get a postmark for 2 days. Yeah, that's why people are telling you your ballot, walk up to the clerk and say, stamp my letter, put the postmark on my letter. They're really doing this, folks, because they know they're screwed. They know right now doctors, hospitals are getting plowed under. Why? People are looking at they're going to give up their health care. They know it. This is the last month they can afford it. They know when the premiums due at the end of this month, they ain't paying it. They don't have it. So they're going to let it go. So get to the doctor now. I mean, this is what stupid presidency looks like. Mike Daly, my dad, God rest his soul, was a USPS letter carrier for 30 years. Trump's policy change for the post office will bankrupt and kill people. It will. It will. People think wait times in emergency departments is bad now. Just wait. It's going to get so much worse. That's another thing. Melissa, this is why I love you. If you're watching this on replay, you have to have that chat panel open. There's a little button in the lower right-hand corner. If you're watching on a mobile device, you can swipe and open the chat panel. Do it. This is what I'm talking about. Our audience, the people in our community are intelligent people. They understand the dynamics of these situations. They understand what it means. What she means by this, people think wait times in emergency departments is bad now. Just wait. It's going to get much worse. Your local hospital, this is what your local hospital administrator is doing right now. besides hammering Tums and whiskey. They're looking at the books and they're going to say, and they see their money's gone. They know that, they're looking at 10 to 20% of their revenues just gone. Because people are going to let those policies expire. They're not going to pay them. They're not going to have health insurance. So what do people with health insurance do? Nothing. They just wait till things get to be a crisis, and then their spouse, when their spouse is laying on the ground having a heart attack, their spouse calls an ambulance and has them taken to the emergency room instead of getting, high blood pressure medication like the president is getting. Yeah. That's what that means. Your local emergency rooms, again, are going to be plowed under. We're going back to the bad old days, folks. The bad old days when people used the emergency room to pay for their health care, to handle their healthcare problems. The most expensive, worst possible outcomes way of handling healthcare. That's what we're back to, because we have the stupidest, weakest, old, decrepit, immoral president that we have ever had. And MAGA, there is no deal breaker. The fact that Trump's in the Epstein files and was part of diddling kids and with Epstein, and he was buddies with Epstein, and everything that he said about Epstein about I didn't fly. Oh yes you did, Cletus. ET. And because of the big ugly bill, the worst for Medicare will not hit until after the midterm, and the best time for these people to get ready is now. Yep. This is all the Republicans they're planning for this. They knew they were going to do this. But I want to finish up with the farmers. This is the thumb in the eye from the agricultural department. Just a thumb in the eye. This is really something. The Farm Bridge Assistance Program, that's the farm bailout, $12 billion they're going to pump into our farms because Trump fucked their business model with tariffs. Because of the Trump idiocy, we've got to pump $12 billion into our farms because, again, we need 1 to 1.3 billion pounds of food a day. So we've got to do this. Even though, Cletus, the dumbass right-winger, is out there, farmers out there voting for Trump because they're eating the dogs and they're eating the cats, and he can be better than some brown people. Mr. Will, 73, unfortunately, ignorant people learn from pain, and good and intelligent people have to suffer because of it. Well said. This is the thumb in the eye. Guess who gets the biggest share? Is it the soybean farmers? The Farm Bridge Assistance bailout, is it the soybean farmers? Nope. It's the rice farmers. Why? Why the rice farmer? That hasn't been in the news. They're not the ones that are, that China said, we're not going to buy any rice from you. Why the rice farmers? Geography, my friend. Geography. The rice farmers are overwhelmingly in red states. There are some in California. There are. And they can't do anything about that. They'll try to monkey with those payments, I'm sure. Because they're, like what they're doing in Minnesota. They're just trying to fuck Minnesota as hard as they can to try to make life miserable there, thinking that it'll pay off for them at the ballot box. That's what they think. Make life miserable in blue areas, and they will, they'll vote Republican because we screwed them, I guess. This is Republican thinking. But rice farmers are in red states, my friends, overwhelmingly. And that's where the lion's share of the Farm Bridge Assistance Program is going to go. Brian Hudson, I think the reason why the orange dumbass is so brazen, he has told the GOP in private there won't be a midterm. He's wrong. Oh, there's going to be one. Yeah, there's going to be a midterm. There is. You know, folks, the federal government doesn't run elections, states do. And if red states don't want to participate, good. Don't. We'll just vote in blue states. But folks, none of this is a deal breaker for MAGA. None of this. I just want to look at what MAGA is. I just, when you're arguing with MAGA on social media, this is what this is, and I'm not talking about the troll farms, just the freaking made up, the Nigerians and the Russians I'm talking about when you're actually arguing with a MAGA person. This is the alpha male that you're arguing with. This guy right here. Just the perfect example of MAGA. This is the alpha male that you're arguing with. This is Jason Kenney. Jason Kenney, man, he's all about them family values. He's all about the family values. Yeah, man. His social media is just flooded full of two things: MAGA stereotypes, ultra MAGA love of Trump, and I shit you not, crime by people of color. His social media feeds are overwhelmingly, they're eating the dogs and they're eating the cats. Super outstanding guy, man. He's the righteous. He's the one that's better than everybody else. He's the one that says, we got to blow them drug boats up, man. He and his wife got into an argument over Monday Night Football. See, apparently they were not that perfect family, and they were having problems. And he and his wife were having an argument. She told him to turn the fucking football off. They needed to talk. So he killed her. Right there in front of her daughter. They started fighting. She told her boy, the young man you saw in that picture, to run next door and get help. And he did. So he murdered his wife right there, right in front of his 12-year-old daughter. Then he turned the gun on her, and she begged him not to shoot her. And we know that because she survived. He shot her in the face, then shot her in the chest, but she survived. Then he blew his own brains out. But his social media feed, it's all they're eating the dogs, they're eating the cats. It's black people crime in Memphis and black people crime there, and Democrats suck and we're so much better than they are. Trump! Skeet said, I've been reading some of Epstein's info. Rump is accused of abusing a boy and also killing a 13-year-old girl. Let not forget E. Jean Carroll was the 80s. They are all evil. There's so much that's going to come out of those Epstein files. Just so much. This was the last note that Kenny's wife sent him. You're drinking. You're using cocaine again. What? I thought we had to blow up the drug boats. You're using cocaine again. This is not the way the family should be. You need God. God! She was MAGA too, by the way. The note states Polk County Sheriff Grady Judd, reporters said Tuesday. I guess God was busy. This is Madison Page Jones. Super MAGA. Madison Page Jones. She's so MAGA that they were running around in Trump hats at her wedding. I guess that wedding didn't go too well because this is Madison Page Jones and her boyfriend, Zachary Donlinger. And I did say boyfriend, not husband. Sorry about the grainy picture. It's all we got of him. But this is Zachary Donlinger. They're in custody. Here in Texas, by the way, up in Midlothian. I guess they let you wear your umbrellas to prison. But yeah, these super MAGA superior people, these are the people you're arguing with online, folks. These are the people you're arguing with online. These people that are better than you. And no, this isn't the teacher took a teenage boy, young man for a ride kind of thing. No, this was fucking disgusting. Apparently she has a taste for 5-year-olds and films it. And they got busted because she sent the video along with a nasty message to her boyfriend, Zachary, talking in sexually explicit terms about that 5-year-old on Snapchat, which led them to investigate her. And then they found the messages to the boyfriend. Then they went and took a look at his devices, and they have found hundreds of these videos. Hundreds of these videos. And this was not a kid in their house. This was a victim they went and found. Super MAGA, the superior people. Skeet Sarah, you can see the evil in her eyes. Yep. I don't know what I don't know. I read and read and read, and I haven't found out about the husband yet. Talk about dodging a bullet. Make sure to watch 8 hours of Jack Smith's testimony at Midas Touch. Amen. Midas is doing an amazing job with that, with the Jack Smith testimony. It is something. They tried to keep that under wraps and couldn't. But you need to remember, this is the MAGA person that says they're superior to you. This is the one on Snapchat. This is the one on Threads. This is the one on Facebook that's talking about Trump and why you are moral Democrats and you're commies. Silly Bebo. So they're chilling in Ellis County jail. Oh, I got to tell you. And it doesn't stop there. This is David Gentile. David Gentile. This is David Gentile. He just looks like a fucking douchebag, doesn't he? Forgive my language if I end up having to edit this out. If you're seeing skips when you watch this on replay, it's because I'm a little bit salty right now. He just looks like a fucking douchebag, doesn't he? He ran a $1.6 billion Ponzi scheme. Billion with a B. This is Bernie Madoff 2.0. He spent about a week in jail. Trump commuted his sentence. Now he doesn't have to pay back restitution. He ran a Ponzi scheme, built tens of thousands of people out of their savings. $1.6 billion in just straight up fraud and theft. If you don't know what a Ponzi scheme is, the modern example of a Ponzi scheme is what they do is they just open up one of these capital companies, investment companies, and they take in money, but they don't invest it. They don't reinvest it. They just take and they divide the money up that comes in, and they pay a partial dividend out with that same money. And so they claim to have these amazing returns because they're paying off a high dividend, but they never invested the money. Or they invest and lose, but they lie about their returns. So a bunch more people say, "Ooh, I want a piece of that." Just like all these MAGA people. There were so many freaking MAGA people that just went down the toilet on there. And they aren't all MAGA. There are some of us that got hurt here because they build this. GPB was billed as the new, man, that's the super sauce right there, man. You got to get involved with this. You can't believe the returns that they weren't getting. They weren't getting. Just made it up. And they just kept taking more and more capital in, and they would send out a little portion of it back as say, "Ooh, this is just the returns on your money." And it's just gone. It's just gone. There's no redeemable reason why this person should be pardoned. He did like a week in jail of a 7-year sentence. Then he was pardoned, so he doesn't have to pay restitution. He just walks away. Meanwhile, tens of thousands of people's, and it's not just retirements, folks. It's not. It's businesses. There are, I mean, story after story after story after story, of people that have built car dealerships over 20, 30 years of work that took their money and invested in this and have destroyed their businesses. And Trump just pardoned them. And no one knows why, which is leading to speculation of bribery. Because there is no reason that a pardon would be approved for David Gentile. No reason. No redeemable anything, anywhere. But they did it. Which leads to the question of why. Which leads to the question of, is this administration just selling bribes? I mean, just selling pardons for bribe money. Dialogue with Me TV. Did you just say, Cumbrella, I just about died? You got to warn us before you start to say certain stuff. Cape Mary Light for the curse jar. Thank you. I appreciate you. I appreciate you being here. I really do. A little bit for the cussing jar. I'm sorry, Vince. I appreciate you, brother. Thank you for always being here, Vince. One second. Bluebird, I'm glad to see you. You new supporters are everything. That means we're going to make it. Happy New Year, Texas Ball and community. I'm looking forward to many coffees with you guys. We've got people that just, John and we've got people that are here every show helping out, supporting the show all the time, but they can't carry it by themselves. You new folks are just, that means we're going to make it. You have no idea. Every time I see a new supporter pop up, we're going to make it. This is Philip S. Forums. Doesn't he just look like a douchebag too? Doesn't he just look like a douchebag? He ran old folks' homes. He bilked Medicare. He defrauded Medicare out of $1.3 billion. And Trump just pardoned him. $1.3 billion in unapologetic fraud, and he gets a sentence commuted. Doesn't have to pay restitution. Boy, howdy! I tell you what, man. Exactly. I saw somebody commenting like Rick Scott. Yep, it's no deal breaker for MAGA, man. Not only does this fraud not bother them, hell, they will put them. If y'all don't know, Rick Scott and his company was responsible for they held the record for the longest time, the most Medicare fraud of any healthcare company ever. His company. And it's not a deal breaker, man. It's not. It's not. Hell, not only does it not bother MAGA, they'll elect them. They'll put them in office. Then they'll reelect them. Rick Scott's running for governor, people. And right now you got MAGA, they're like, woo, that's my guy. But Somalians, right? Wonder what that's all about. Oh, yeah, they're black. Robert Walsh, thank you for being here, brother. That has nothing to do with fraud. Every single MAGA person that you see talking about Minnesota right now is a bigot. They are a bigot, a straight up 100% bigot. This has nothing to do with fraud. They don't give a shit about fraud. They don't give a shit about kids. They don't give a shit about any of it. They don't. None of it's a deal breaker for them. None of it is a deal breaker for them. They send these people their money. They work for them. They phone bank for them. They go out on social media and tell you how superior they are while doing shit like this at home. Jared Kalkanunen, thank you for being here, brother. We need a lemon law on presidency. Oh my God, we do. It's called an impeachment, but they never planned for, the Republicans to be as openly corrupt as they are. North Swiss 815, a bit for the cussing jar, right with you too. Thank you. I appreciate you, man. I appreciate you. But yeah, this happened. I'm not going to bullshit you. I'm not. If I engaged in $1.3 billion in fraud and got a pass, got to walk away. Oh yeah. 100%. I would be a good boy. You'd never hear from me again. I would be the quietest little church mouse you ever heard in your life. Appreciate you, Norseman. I really do. I would be the quietest little church mouse you ever heard in your life. But then again, I'm not MAGA. I'm not MAGA. He's back in jail. He's back in jail. And no, it's not because the state governments went ahead and prosecuted him for the shit that he was pardoned for. No, just because he beat the piss out of his wife. Back in jail for domestic violence. It's who these people are. This is who these people are. Stephen Leach, 1410. Also, Ron DeSantis is going to be held accountable. He showed Trump how it's done. It's really difficult for me to wrap my head around. It is really difficult for me to wrap my head around these MAGA and their core values and the things that they think are important. And I will never be able to relate to them. I never will. And Miguel Arson tell us, thank you for being here. Notice that Eric Adams didn't get a pardon. Wonder why. He did. He didn't get a pardon. They just shut down his investigation. They just killed his investigation, and they know that it'll time out. He did. 100%. Anonymous 48. Speaking of scummy presidents and denying Colorado clean drinking water. Yep. They're gonna this is what they're doing, folks. This is their strategy. They're going to cheat any way they can. They're going to redistrict because they know that their policies are doing. They know what their policies are doing. They know what letting the Affordable Care Act subsidies expire is going to do. So what is their goal? Is it to try to do anything? No, they're not trying to govern. They're going to screw with the mail. They're going to redistrict. They're going to try to, screw with the elections. And then they're going to go into blue areas and they're going to take every dollar they can out. They've made it clear. They're just going to try to make life as awful as possible in blue areas. Literally attack Americans, thinking that this is going to pay off and motivate people to show up and vote Republican. Gabriel Lopez, who's to say the Trump administration didn't steal the money allocated for child funding? We don't know because the Department of Justice is defunct. It's completely defunct. And until we hand Democrats power in the midterms, they don't have the power to run these investigations on their own. They don't. We've got to return Democrats to power. And folks, Trump is, again, we just had another story break about Trump's health. And it's never good. It's never good. Pardoning people who defrauded victims of millions as a reward for loyalty to the president is legally allowed. Time to change the law. Joe Emily, Happy New Year, P and Mrs. P. How fast would the House and Senate act if we changes the TP in the Capitol and White House to rough cut cedar? They have no goal. Sometimes I just read this stuff and I'm like, no. And I'll have to go read another story just to confirm it. And another one, catch my whiff. If the midterms go the way we think, does it make sense to 25th Dumpy also impeach Couchboy? No, it doesn't. That's the thing. That's the worst part about it. No, it doesn't make sense to impeach him. It makes more sense to let him die in office. And if we have super majorities, we can completely control them. We can. From the legislature, we can completely control them. But it means we have to have super majorities. Another story broke about his health. And of course, he's lying again. Trump says he takes more aspirin than recommended by his doctors. He also says he's not using his compression socks and a bunch of other things came out. He's full of shit. He says he likes to take about 325 milligrams. That's more than his doctors recommend. No, that's a lie. When you've had a cardiac event, some sort of vascular event, the maximum dose they will put you on a daily aspirin regimen is 325 milligrams. And folks, even the low dose, the 75 milligram, which is they don't recommend it anymore. They don't recommend that anymore. You have to have a serious health problem for them to put you on an aspirin regimen now. They used to recommend aspirin regimens for preventative care. They don't anymore. They don't tell people. You don't see those commercials. Your doctor recommends a low dose aspirin regimen. No, you remember seeing those commercials? You remember seeing those commercials? I remember those commercials. Bear aspirin, Bear Children's. Doctors recommend for low dose aspirin for no. They don't recommend that shit anymore. And he's on the maximum dose. So what does he do? He makes up a lie. This is how you know what is going on with him is bad. Because they lie about it all. Folks, in this day and age, in this era of medicine, what cardiac problem could he have? What circulatory problem could he have that they couldn't tell you about? The survival rates are astronomically high now. This isn't 10, 20 years ago where, this was all a death sentence. They're lying for a reason, folks. He's on a maximum dose. He doesn't want to admit he's on a maximum dose. So he lies and says, I take more than my doctor recommends. Bullshit! You just happen to invent for yourself an extra dose that happens to match the maximum recommended dose. Bullshit. But it explains a lot. It really does. Richard Lawson, remember to hit that like button and share. Thank you, Rich, for always being here, brother. Explains a lot because when you're taking 325 milligrams of aspirin a day, you bruise real easy. I mean, you'll bruise without anything hitting you. Veins will just pop. I mean, yeah, it explains a lot. But what it doesn't explain is this, and no one has been able to explain this. This is, I know they say he's got vascular deficiency and all, but look at this, folks. This is just insane. And just to prove to you that this isn't a made up picture, I want you to see this is the picture of him standing there. And you don't really notice from this picture. You don't really notice, but I want you to take a look at his feet. This is his feet in that picture. What the hell is, I mean, damn. I mean, just swelling so bad. You can see over here on this left foot that his foot is so fat and swollen that it's completely rolled over the sole of his shoe. And his shoes are twisted. What the hell? I have never in my life, have any of you in the audience ever seen something like this? Someone's feet so that their shoes are corkscrewing? I mean, literally flopping out over his shoes. Look how tight and swollen these shoes are. Man, I hope your coffee is as good as mine. It is just carrying me today. I'm telling you, just carrying me. And I want to commend you. I do. I want to commend you. There's a lot of people on social media that responded to this National Guard stuff, and they're like, "Oh, that's it, man. We got to burn it down. We've got to fight. We've got to, turn to violence, and we got to." Folks, no. Your peaceful protests, you being the smart ones, telling people that no, we've got to protest peacefully. Folks, I had to someone reach out to me yesterday, sent me an email, in sheer panic, talking about it's time to form up. It's time to, no. A guy in a frog suit in Portland did more than anything. Violence would just hand it to them. It would just give them the excuse. This is what you did, folks. I'm going somewhere with this. Stick with me. Mr. Knutson in the house. Asborn Knutson. With feet like that, 1,000 milligrams of aspirin 3 times a day seems more like you can't. It'll kill you. You can't do that. That's why 325 milligrams a day is the maximum recommended dose. E.T., my Deadpool entry is in late May, although I would not be angry at the universe if it waits until after the midterms to take him. Get involved. Giddy Roadrunner, why don't we just start building up prison walls around the White House? I hear you. Look, this is what you did, folks. This is what you did. Your peaceful protests, the smart things. I'm telling you, one guy in a frog suit in Portland did more. I cannot stress enough that guy is going to go into the history books. It's going to be studied on how the effects of this kind of peaceful, joyful protests, what it can do. You won. Trump has given up. Again, you'd think this would be dominating the news, but no. The news is more than willing to go along with the bigotry. You won. You did it. You won. Torrild Hendrickson, thank you for being here. More of our Norwegian audience. We're growing in Europe, folks. We are growing in Europe. I am so glad to see you folks from Europe here. I'm telling you, your voices in the community are huge because, man, we're isolated. We are isolated here in the U.S. We don't travel that much. We're not like you. You have in the distance that I travel from here, where I'm sitting, to Louisiana, or from where I'm sitting from here to Austin, you get to go to another country that speaks another language. We don't have that. We don't. Unless you live in like South Texas or South Arizona, South New Mexico, you don't have that. It is so important to have those voices here. I am super grateful. But yeah, Trump isn't the only one that's imploding. I mean, MAGA is just blowing up everywhere. I'm sure y'all saw something about this. This has been some juicy, tasty stuff, man. Erica Kirk just getting rolled. She goes out and she says that she goes out and says that she never dated. She didn't like that. Her roommates dated, and she didn't like that. And they used to drink, and I don't drink. I don't like to drink. I'd rather go to brunch and have coffee. Just made up a bunch. I didn't date for 5 years before I married Charlie. Bitch, the internet is forever. It is forever. And they went back, and they went back. She did. She sat there with her little tissue, and she did an interview with no pushback that said, I didn't date for 5 years before I dated Charlie, and I don't like to drink. I just don't drink. I don't. Really? 1 year before you dated Charlie Kirk, you were on a dating show. You were chasing your fame, getting hammered. This is your date with Jordan. There's video of this if you want to go back and watch it, because I tell you what, man, people are just hot on this. Hot on this, sucking that drink down. There's video if you want to go watch it. I mean, if you want to go to social media, it's there. She dated several guys, and it's all documented. This is a social media personality, man. This is what she did before she was chasing fame. She documented it all. They've got all the boyfriends lined out. They did, couples pictures online and said, I never dated, but the internet is forever. Forever. Silly Bebo. Her ex-boyfriend is part of Toilet Paper USA. I love you people. I love you people. Do you know what the next thing is going to be? I love that y'all are always ahead of the damn show. I love it. It is so nice. I want you to meet Cabot Phillips. I told you, the internet's forever. This is, yeah, I never dated. That's surprising. Cabot Phillips says you're dating. In fact, he's posting pictures of your painting date, your couple's painting date. What does date mean? I love you people. I love you people. You know exactly what MAGA is going to be saying. Yeah, Cabot Phillips, her ex. Apparently, he's an editor over at the Daily Wire, and he and Charlie Kirk had beef, man. They did not like each other. They did not like each other. When she jumped ship with Cabot Phillips and married Charlie Kirk, Cabot Phillips was not happy about that. And they hated each other. And I wonder how Charlie feels about the fact that Cabot Phillips, Erica Kirk's ex, the new leader of Turning Point USA, Cabot Phillips, her ex, is now Turning Point USA's leading spokesperson. I'm just going to sit here and sip coffee and just let this soak in for a minute. Honey, I'm going to tell you this. I'm going to be frank. I'm going to be right up front with this. If I die and you bring in your ex to run the Texas Paul show, I will haunt your ass forever. Forever. Cecile Kazemi, they all lie when the truth would do much better. Yeah, I hear you. Cecile, thank you for always being here. Cannot do it without you. I'm super grateful. And I want to do a shout out to all the memberships. I want to say thank you. I really am grateful. I'm telling you, y'all asked for them. I was worried about doing it. Y'all have been gifting memberships like crazy. I'm super proud of you. Thank you. To make sure that that we're not gatekeeping here. Everybody gets involved. I am super grateful for all the support. Thank you for being so receptive to the memberships. I was very worried about that. I really was. I mean, it was one group that was vehemently, we want to do memberships. It's the easiest. It's set it, forget it. We don't have to, we can support you even if we can't make it to the show. Yada. I mean, I email after email after email. And on the other side, it's like, don't do memberships because it's gatekeeping, because some people won't have access to the emojis. They won't have access to the, it's working out, and I'm truly grateful. Anonymous, she says she did not have dating relations with those people. I did not have relations with that guy that I just introduced at this Turning Point USA function. I did not have relations with the guy that says I have relations with him. Yeah, he's just running all over the country. He's running all over the country for Turning Point USA. I wonder how Charlie Kirk would feel about that. You know what? I don't give a shit. I don't give a shit how he'd feel about it. I really don't. He was an asshole. This is all a bad soap opera we can't turn off. You don't know how true that statement is. You don't know how true that statement is. This is a trash TV presidency. It is. It is a reality TV presidency. You are 100% spot on with that statement. You are. But all of these people, including their allies, are incompetent and they're going to fail. I'm pissed off about the mess that we're going to have to clean up. This is going to take us decades to right this ship. It is. It is going to take us decades to right this ship. And we're going to have to make so many hard decisions here in the next few years. After we retake the White House in 2028, there are going to be so many tough decisions because the financial disaster that they're leaving us in, they're going to be, Vince, I'm super grateful, brother. I am super, super grateful. That is very kind of you, my friend. Anonymous, where's Jerry Springer, right? Don't you call me Jerry Springer. Don't you do it. Don't you do it. Oh, you get on my bad side. You call me Jerry Springer. Oh, my God. But it's even their allies are incompetent and stupid. Even their allies. This is happening, folks. This is happening. We've been watching what's happening in Ukraine, and it's been heartbreaking. We've been watching them actually entertain a Ukrainian peace deal where they were talking about Ukraine itself was talking about giving up land. And it's just been heartbreaking, but we've seen a new spring in Volodymyr Zelensky's step as of late. And it looks like Ukraine may make it. This is one of those things where you're watching everything come down to the wire, but this is happening. What I'm about to show you, this is happening. Katie Mullins, 45, public elementary teacher here. It's my last day of winter break. It's my last day of winter break to watch you live during the weekend until spring break. I watch on Sundays. Thank you for all your research and shared knowledge. No, thank you for being here. Thank you for being here, because that's what it's all about. It ain't about me. It isn't about me. It is about building a community where we're ready to go into and actually do something in the midterms, actually make a difference. Grab the Democratic Party and pull it left. Make a difference, folks. Make a difference. Not just win, but win and make it better. That's what we're doing here, man. And it's you people that are doing it, not me. For the misses and the mods, thank you, Stephen. I appreciate you. I cannot do it without your support. Just cannot. I can't afford to. I wish I could run this show with no support, but I can't. This just happened. Russian officials warn a banking crisis is possible amid non-payments. I don't want to think about a continuation of war or an escalation. This is coming out of the Russian central bank. This is coming out. People are screaming in Russia right now. What's going on, folks? What he's talking about here is defaults. Not just people, not just your average person defaulting on their credit card, defaulting on their car loans. Folks, the Central Bank of Russia is in such a panic. They just cut, and you folks with economic backgrounds will know how much 50 basis points is, how big a cut 0.5% is. They just did this with another meeting scheduled in the near future. Central Bank of Russia, yes, and that is correct, 16%. They slashed their interest rates to 16%. This is the kind of inflation they're dealing with in Russia. They are in a panic. Me too, Chandra Patton. I really do. good people in the live chat. I'm telling you, I brag on it all the time. Every time I post about the show on social media and invite people, I hope you understand. You're the one. You're what I brag on. So yeah, Russia's banking system is imploding. We talked about repo loans. We talked about the banks trading in assets for emergency loans, the repo loans. We've been doing it here to the tune of billions and billions and billions of dollars. Russia has been doing it on an even larger scale. They just dumped, and you have to forgive me, I'm having a brain lock. I don't remember exactly how many. You have to remember the Russian economy is a fraction of our economy. It is not on par with us. And I mean, they just dumped billions and billions of dollars in repo loans into their banks because the level of defaults on everything. You're talking about, again, what's so scary about this. It's not just personal defaults. Like I said, it's not just mortgages, credit cards, and car loans. It's businesses that just aren't paying their loans. Folks, imagine what their economy is like when their credit central bank's rate is 16%. That means your loans are 19%, 20%. And it's crumbling. It is crumbling. It's so bad that they just did this. And again, why isn't this front page news? Why isn't this front page news? Folks, they just did this. Russia's central bank eases reserve rules for banks to restructure company loans. That headline doesn't tell the whole story, of course. It's just a headline. What that means is, folks, you have to secure, down payments on loans. You understand down payments. That's not just that's just not just the bank itself saying, I want you to make sure you got some skin in the game kind of thing. That's not what that's for. Banks must have a ratio of cash on hand versus money loaned out. It's a law everywhere. It is part of just banking legislation in every country on earth that is allowed to do business in the first world must have these laws in place. For X amount of loans, you must have X amount of liquid capital on hand. Russia just said, fuck it, loan all you want. That's what that means. You no longer have to have the capital on hand that is required, the amount of liquidity that's required. They just changed the rules and said, these companies defaulting is, that's a problem. Let's keep them afloat, loan them all they need, and don't worry about taking any more cash in. Your books no longer have to balance. We're good. And folks, they're already, you just saw it. They're already at 16%. And here's the thing. No one can give you a reason why these defaults are going to slow down. No one can give you any economic reasoning because their oil industry has collapsed. There is no revenue going into Russia that will allow them to prop this up, that will stop the defaults. Remember, it's the defaults. It's people defaulting on the loans, causing the bank's balance sheets to go out of whack, which would cause them to be taken over. The bank would be taken over. That's what's supposed to happen, folks. If you do business in the Western world, that is what is supposed to happen. When your banks, that's why we do it. That's why we do it. That's why even right now, the Trump administration, they've taken over banks. Because you have to go to the rest of the world and say, look, our laws are such, we behave in such a way that we're all holding these standards in place so that you can know that our financial house is, you can know what you're investing in, you can know what you're buying. Russia just said, fuck it. And they did it publicly. You just read that on Reuters. And this is not the number one story. Why isn't this the number one story in the corporate media? Because it directly affects their ability to wage war in Ukraine. One of two things happens in the immediate future. In the immediate future, not 6 months from now, not a year from now. I'm talking over the next couple of months. One of two things happens. Russia runs out of money to wage war as their economics just absolutely collapse, or they rip the mask off and admit that they are the old Soviet Union. And they'll just print money. They'll just pretend like the old Soviet Union did. That's where we're at. The Ukrainians that are fighting and dying to hold the Russians off, if they can hold out for a few more months, have made it. They've made it. We've gone from us betraying Ukraine, Europe not supporting Ukraine enough, to actually they can see some daylight at the end of the tunnel. But we don't know. We don't know. Would Trump do something stupid like bail out Russia? No one has a crystal ball. Would Europe do something stupid like bail out Russia? I mean, we did it once before. Cross-eyed guy, as useless as this Trump presidency is, at least we know who the dogs are. When all of this madness is over, we will know who to go after. Amen. Amen. Nixon didn't go to jail, but his attorney general did. "2026 is going to be incredible. It is going to be, I mean, I'm cautious to say a good year because they're going to continue to keep doing horrible things. But some incredible world events are going to happen. They are. It's going to happen. And it's everywhere. I predict 2026 sees the fall of Netanyahu. I predict 2026 sees the fall of Putin. If we in the West can just pull our heads out of our collective asses and hang in there, we can return decency across the globe. Lady died, 1245. Maybe Trump and Besant will bail out Russia also with 40 billion. I'm telling you, we did it before. We said we couldn't let Russia collapse because of the weapons. And you remember all the excuses. You remember all the excuses of why we bailed them out before. Again, the perfect storm. We've got a crash imminent here. How is Trump going to sell bailing out Russia when we're dealing with our own economic crash here? I don't think he can. I'll be honest with you. I don't think he can. I mean, when you big picture it, you look at what's happening here. You know, you saw the chart from the last show with the AI bubble. Here, I'll pull it back up for you. I'll pull it back up for you. It's not that hard to find. I still have it. I haven't deleted it. There you go. Only took that long. You know, we've got an AI bubble that's about to burst. You've got billionaires already pulling up. Peter Thiel, for Christ's sake, Peter Thiel pulled his money out of AI. And, you know, if you know anything about the tech industry and what Palantir does, for Peter Thiel to pull his money out of AI is insane. So that bubble's going to burst. And when that bubble bursts, it's going to just be a chain reaction. We've got a housing bubble that's primed to burst. This is going to be huge. I don't see how they bail Russia out. This may be a European century. It may be. Thomas Kane, 5723, Ukraine just put out a video showing miles of fortifications sitting behind the front lines that Russia still doesn't control after 4 years. It's why Russia wants the land conceded. They can't win. Yeah. And again, I said, I put a caveat on it that Volodymyr Zelensky may just be crazy like a fox because he completely played Trump. You now have Trump arguing on Volodymyr Zelensky's side in these peace negotiations because Volodymyr Zelensky said, we'll give up some land. But if they drag it out, if they can drag it out just for a few more months, Russia's fucked. I told you, he may be crazy like a fox. I'm telling you. This is going to be something to watch. And I don't have a crystal ball, folks. I really don't. I don't know if Ukraine's going to be able to keep it up for as long as they need to. I don't know what Russia's reaction is going to be. Putin may just say, you know what, we're the old Soviet Union. We are. There's no Russian Federation. There's just the party. There's just me. I am the party. That's it. That's what we are. It may happen over the next few months. Anonymous, yeah, he did. He would after his visit here in Mar-a-Lago, he went to Canada. Yeah. So I'm telling you, folks, there's a lot to watch. There's a lot going on. This is going to be an incredible year. I'm hesitant to say a good year because, again, Republicans control the Congress. They control the Supreme Court. They control the administration, which means there's a lot of bad shit we're going to have to fight through. But look, they gave up on the guard. You know, remember how scared everybody was? That's it. That's it. They've taken over. And I said, hang in there. We'll make it. We'll make it to the other side. We'll make it to the other side. If you just stand strong and you refuse to give up your institutions, you refuse to give up your rights. People kept saying, they're not going to let us vote. And I kept saying, I'm not asking for their permission. I'm voting. If you just hold the line, we're going to make it. We're going to make it. And our job is to make Republicans pay for it. Mr. Newton, AI bubble needs popping. I want cheaper DDR5. I'm telling you, man. I am telling you. I saw a meme the other day for you people that aren't tech geeks. The meme was, if I could go back in time, men versus women. And I can't remember what the women was. It was some misogynist shit because it was out of a tech bro. I don't remember what the women's version of what, if I could go back in time and tell myself to do something, but the one for the men was buy 100 gigabytes of DDR5. Memory is expensive right now, folks. It is expensive. Which is why your electronics are expensive. But this is the last thing I want to talk about. And I know I've gone long, and I do apologize. This is going to be damn near a 2-hour show, and I apologize for that. But there was just a lot to talk about. And I love spending time with you. So here we are. Mom Donnie didn't waste any time. Mom Donnie didn't waste any time. First thing he did was he rescinded all executive orders from Eric Adams from the date he was indicted to present. And that's important. That is important. The date he was indicted was important because you remember what was going on with Eric Adams when he started sucking up to Trump for pardons. He became a favor machine. He became a Republican favor machine. And he couldn't get the city to go along with a lot of it. It went back to September 26, 2024, the day he was invited. I couldn't remember the date. I had to look it up. He went back to September 26, 2024. He was rescinded all of Eric Adams' executive orders from that point to present. Love it. Love it. And Trump's got to be just livid because Eric Adams did. He became a MAGA favor machine. He would just pump executive order after executive order after executive order. They're all gone. And you did this, folks. You did this. I'm telling you. All the hand wringing, all the can we get it over the line? Oh, all is Cuomo going to ruin it? All of the, man, you did it. You did it. I'm telling you, and we're going to do it in the future. All you got to do, get involved with your local party because elections are local, folks. States control the elections, not the federal government. Republicans knew this. That's why the Republicans did it this way. Let's identify a Democrat. Let's create a Democratic identity, something for people to grab onto when they say, I'm a Democrat. This is what it means. We've got work to do in 2026. I'm here for it. I hope you're here for it too. I hope you're here for it too. If you are, thank you for the memberships. Thank you for hitting the subscribe button. Thank you for hitting the thumbs up button. Thanks for hitting the notification bell. All of those things helps us in the algorithms and gets this pushed out as far as possible. I don't use social media as a grievance. I use it as a tool. I use it as a tool to find people, find like-minded people, and pull them together into a community. I can't do that without you. You have to share this stuff. You have to make it happen. Imagine how useless and weak I would be without you. You're everything, and I'm grateful for you. I want you to know that. I am grateful for you. Pavlin 01, Happy New Year to our community. The year will be challenging. Hold the line. Amen. Amen. And with that, last word goes to Mandolia. Trump actually could have ended the Ukraine war close to day one. He could have. We have, folks, that's the one thing we do here in the, our European audience and our global audience, I know they don't tell you this stuff. There's something, not every government tells their people everything. They don't. What your governments don't tell you is just what our military is. We hear about it all the time. It is a source of pride here in the United States. You need to understand what we've built. We've built a military where we could literally go to war with the entire world and have a chance of winning. That's what we've built here. We could have ended the Ukraine war like that. It would have been 2 weeks of airstrikes, followed up by we would have owned the Black Sea. It could have been done. It could have been done. We just chose not to. We chose to let Ukrainians die for no reason. Mandolia, thank you for being here. I appreciate you. Well, folks, that's what I've got for you today. I hope it was useful. I hope it gets you motivated. I hope it lets you know just exactly how important you are. We are not the same. We are not the same. You know, go back to the original theme of the show. The Epstein files aren't a deal breaker for them. You said it and you meant it. Release the Epstein files. And I don't give a damn who's in it. Burn them all. And you meant it. That was a deal breaker for you. That was a deal breaker for you. And you know who knows that? Bill Clinton knows that. Bill Clinton said, release it all. I want to adjudicate this. Because he knows he can't survive. Unless he just proves his innocence, he can't survive. Because that's who we are. We're not okay with it. They are. What is MAGA doing today? Is they're saying, oh, no, I don't want to hear anything. Release the Epstein files, cut the redaction shit out. No, they're out there on social media talking, oh, but Joe Biden, Somalians, some black people stole money. That's what they're doing. That's what they're doing. None of this was a deal breaker for them. They didn't give a shit about pedophilia. They don't give a shit about their women. They don't. They don't. They've let red state after red state after red state just push women into being second-class citizens. And they're cool with it. Not a deal breaker. Not a deal breaker. Trump could abuse a kid on Fifth Avenue and he would not lose core MAGA. We are not the same. That is not me kissing your ass. That is me bringing receipts, people. We are not the same. We just have to do the work because they're going to fight us the whole way. They are. Their entire self-identity is MAGA. They're never going to let that go. There's no meeting them. There's no convincing them. They'll just ignore whatever. I don't trust your sources. La 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 la. The only option is to defeat them. And there's only one way to do that. Again, get involved locally, support good candidates, fight your ass off, be ride or die. Even if your candidate doesn't win, you still got to show up and make it happen. 2026 is going to be an incredible year. Let's make it happen. Stephen Leach says, we've got a retired Major General, MTG, just, I don't know what you're saying there. I don't understand. What is dist? Destroyed? Because destroyed's got an E in it. MTG, Marjorie Taylor Greene's district. I gotcha. Got a good candidate. Yeah, I know who you're talking about. There is a good, solid candidate down there that has got a shot. He's not running against Marjorie Taylor Greene. He's running in a seat with no incumbent now. Greene is gone. We've got a shot. We do. We have a shot. Sean Harris. I love you people. Stoneflower Dragon. Sean, y'all know, you know so much shit. I'm so proud of you. I am so proud of you. Yeah, I think I'm the only geek running around. Turns out we got a whole community of them. We got a shot. Let's do it, folks. And on that note, and thank you again for supporting the memberships like you have. On that note, enjoy some Texas cities at night.